Coming up on the Hong Kong Racing Show, Triple Crown Champion. We recap Hong Kong superstar Romantic Warrior's incredible win in the Group 1 Champions and Chater Cup.
He has not been defeated in Hong Kong in 3 consecutive seasons.
Wow. Plus all the latest news and analysis for this weekend's Group 3 doubleheader at Sha Tin. Welcome along to the Hong Kong Racing Show. Yes, incredible scenes at Sha Tin last weekend with Romantic Warrior becoming just the third horse in history to win the Hong Kong Triple Crown. We're going to recap all of that for you right now. And who better to do it with than my regular co-host Alex Evers, who was trackside at Sha Tin, photographing up a storm as he always does. How are things, Alex?
Good to be home, Brownie. Looks like my travel season is over. I got a little bit of time back home with the wifey, and it's great. And it was awesome to get a Triple Crown there. You know, everyone in America likes to say the youngest guy to do this, the first to do this. Well, let's put it this way: first American photographer to photograph back-to-back Triple Crowns in how long? Who knows? But no, just jokes aside, it was great to see, and back-to-back Triple Crowns for J-Mac too, which is pretty impressive. And I'm sure we'll get into the controversies surrounding his ride, but Romantic Warrior pulls it off, and he pulls off a perfect season. So I guess it creates a unique debate between who's going to be Horse of the Year, Ka Ying Rising or Romantic Warrior. And it's been interesting. The last 3 seasons, we've had a lot of these really tight races in completely different divisions, different types of horses, sprinters, long distance, middle distance. So it's good. It's good to be talking about horse racing for positive things, you know?
Absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit about that Horse of the Year debate in a few moments. But what was the atmosphere like on track, Alex, on Sunday afternoon? How were the fans? And when J-Mac returned to basically I'm sure they were cheering their hearts out for their hero.
Well, hey, first of all, like I always say, the Hong Kong fans, there's a conglomerate of fans that rush to get to I call it Victory Lane, like they have at Belmont Park, where the horses, walk up and the jockey celebrates, and the fans have plushies and signs and saddlecloths and pictures and everything to autograph. And those guys go absolutely insane. And when I walk up that way, I kind of try to pump them up and get them screaming a little bit. But it was actually interesting because when J-Mac had come back, he was a little bit quieter than usual. And I think it was probably because he was under the impression that there was a protest or some sort of inquiry. His head was fixated on the board. And then it looks like when it flashed, he kind of went up and put his hand up. But it was because of that objection thing, I think it kind of quelled his positivity and his yelling until it was all said and done. But the fans there are incredible. And again, they get treated to a show every time out there, whether it's Ka Ying Rising or Romantic Warrior. So it's great to see a bunch of young guys and girls into horse racing. Fans from Japan flew over that are just so fanatical about such a great sport. And it's something I wish we'd see more of here in the United States.
Yeah, well, you mentioned J-Mac. Let's hear from the winning jockey and trainer now, starting with James McDonald, who spoke to the Hong Kong Jockey Club's Nick Childs directly after the win.
James McDonald, is there anything this horse can't do? What a horse.
We'll run him over 6 next. No, he Triple Crown winner. He thoroughly deserved that. I read an article. The boss, he said he's already an immortal, and I totally agree with him. He didn't need to win this to be with that, but I think he's put the cherry on top. He should be Horse of the Year this year, and I think he stamped that by winning the Triple Crown.
James, I think he's cemented his place in history. Don't worry about that. Very well done again.
Thank you. Cheers.
I feel such a scorer, and I'm such a lucky guy, lucky trainer, and because I can train Romantic Warrior. Yeah. Before the race, we already set up the plan, put him sleep, let him relax, and try to hit the front, hit the line on the last 400 meters. So James, he done a great job. He's a top-class jockey. Yes.
And I have to ask, next season, what's the plan with Romantic Warrior, do you think?
The plan is give him a break, whole season off. I think about whether I should send him to Chung Fa, such as Ka Ying Rising. As Mr. Hayes is that Ka Ying Rising in Chung Fa very happy. So I might send him to Chung Fa Give him a little big and then see how he goes. Yeah.
And of course, for the team, for Peter Lau, for yourself, for James McDonald, for the stable as well, it must mean the world to have Romantic Warrior go and win the Triple Crown like that.
Of course, yeah, we are very happy because we are a good team. The stable, very good team. Peter always make the right decisions. And jockeys, McDonald, James, very good, yeah.
All right, Danny, heaping praise there on his owner, Peter Lau, and of course, his jockey, James McDonald. But Alex, it goes without saying, he was incredibly well trained too, Romantic Warrior, by Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love when Danny gets around the horse and he's hugging him and he's kissing on him after the races. And he's always saying, I love you, Romantic Warrior. I love you. I love you. Like it's, I talk to my dogs when I'm petting them. And when he was walking back towards the trophy presentation, I was like, what a horse. And Danny jokingly goes, yeah, what a trainer too. So it was just kind of a fun, cheeky moment between Danny and I, but just a special horse, special connection. And I think like it's one of the great things of Hong Kong racing to me is seeing these horse and human bonds over the time that I've been, Vincent Ho and Golden 60, Danny Shum and Romantic Warrior, these things that are just, and they run for so long too, that you really get to see these bonds develop and the highs and the lows of these horses and the connections of the people around them. And it's just another layer of Hong Kong racing that I find so fascinating and interesting and exceptionally great to photograph as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So 15 Group 1s now for Romantic Warrior. And he was undefeated in 6 career starts this season. An unbelievable season he had, and he's going to go off for a break now. All right, well, after a big Sunday at Sha Tin, Alex hopped on a plane and managed to make it to Santa Anita for Memorial Day Monday. Quite the weekend double that. Santa Anita is also where I found former Hong Kong Jockey Club executive Bill Nader, who is now the president and CEO of the Thoroughbred Owners of California. I caught up with Bill to talk more about Romantic Warrior and his incredible season. Well, Bill, back-to-back Triple Crown winners in Hong Kong, and what a performance from Romantic Warrior and the champions in Chater.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of American racing, where they thought maybe we're never going to see a Triple Crown again. It was so long before American Pharaoh came along, and in Hong Kong with River Verdon, then finally Voyage Bubble, and now right away we get Romantic Warrior, and just an exceptional horse. When you look at, he has not been defeated in Hong Kong in 3 consecutive seasons.
Wow.
J-Mac, a perfect 11 for 11 on Romantic Warrior in Hong Kong. And look, it's just been an incredible season in Hong Kong to see 2 absolute superstars like Ka Ying Rising and Romantic Warrior complete perfect seasons. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again.
Yeah, and Romantic Warrior actually could be off to Chung Fa for a bit of a break, where Ka Ying Rising, as you just mentioned, is having a break at the moment as well before the Everest later on in the season. Going back to Romantic Warrior, the other remarkable thing is James McDonald, back-to-back Triple Crown wins for him after Voyage Bubble last year.
Yeah, that's incredible, to do with 2 different horses in successive seasons. But the ride in the Champions in Chater, where we saw that Danny Shum said we're just going to put him to sleep, and that's what they did. But he's just so tenacious and determined, and to get up and win it by a half a length, it was goosebump time. It was great to watch, and he's such an exceptional horse. He do it at the age of 8, and now his earnings in U.S. currency are just shy of $37 million,
wow,
which is about $7 million more than Forever Young, which is kind of crazy when you think he's won 2 Saudi Cups. And he's still that far behind Romantic Warrior. But that tells you what kind of a career this horse has had. Excellence over a sustained period of time, where he just keeps doing it over and over again. And he's a true champion, and as they say, immortal or legend in not only Hong Kong racing, but global racing.
What do you think of the ride of J-Max? I know there was a little bit of a steward's inquiry. I wouldn't have liked to have been a steward trying to bring that one down.
No, definitely not. Especially a $1.10 favorite, but they made the right decision. And look, you can't fault the ride. I mean, he was very patient, and that was the game plan, and they finished it off. But again, incredible season, incredible racehorse, and to do it over such a long period of time, and you've seen it time and time again in Hong Kong, where these great legends of the turf are able to do it over a long period of time, and it just never gets old. It's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and I mean, we go back 6 months or so too, International Day. when he won his fourth Hong Kong Cup, at that point, the plan was going to be Dubai and Saudi again, and they made a change and decided to focus on the Triple Crown. In hindsight, it's always a wonderful thing. Didn't they make the right call?
Yeah, Peter Lau, the owner, I think gets a lot of credit from Danny Shum, the trainer, that Peter makes those decisions. But look, in his 8-year-old year, I think it was the right thing to do to stay home and still have to perform at a very high level to win a Triple Crown. But to do it in Hong Kong and stay home was, in my opinion, the right thing to do. And they've, this horse he's been great to them, and they've been great to the horse, and it's just a love fest, I think, for all the fans in Hong Kong and everybody involved to see excellence at the highest level being rewarded with the Triple Crown, Triple Crown winner in 2026.
Does he just keep going in 26, 27?
I think so. He had the injury, and I thought he might have been retired, but he's come back and he's been able to be as good as ever. So I guess, Chung Fa is a hot springs resort town, so he'll go up there and have that kind of, laid back treatment, and then I'm sure he'll let him know the start of the new season, when the real running begins in October, what the game plan might be. But I'd imagine the Hong Kong Cup on the second Sunday in December has got to be fresh on their mind.
Yeah, well, we'll look forward to that. Imagine another season watching the great romantic warrior go around. We have just been, as you pointed out, treated these last couple of seasons with Ka Ying Rising and Romantic Warrior, Golden 60 before that. The good horses just keep coming from Hong Kong.
They sure do.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Always great to catch up with Bill Nader. I think he looked a little bit fresher at Santa Anita on Monday than what you did, Alex.
Oh, I would have been on vet's list after that flight. Legs were sore, breathing a little heavy. The only thing that was good about being at Santa Anita was coming out of the insane heat and humidity in Hong Kong at 75 Fahrenheit and no humidity here was like a nice respite for me. But I got a question for you, Brownie. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is the last we've seen of Romantic Warrior? Does he retire after this, or does he run one more season? Does he push the Saudi Cup and try to win that with no Forever Young around and nothing really that standoutish in America right now, looking like it would head that way? You got to imagine like the big 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds will retire to stud at the end of the season in America. There's not much out there, like no Forever Young. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I touched on that with Bill in that interview, and is a fifth Hong Kong Cup in his future, and it's very possible, I think. And I think what they'll do is just listen to the horse, as they always do. They've always had the horse's interest at best heart, and when he had that injury last year and all that kind of stuff, they took their time with him, and they let him tell them if he wanted to race again and all that kind of stuff. And I think that'll be the case again now after a little bit of a break at Chung Fa. I think that if all is well, we will see him next season, firstly as an 8-year-old and then turning 9 in January. Why not? And why not go for a fifth Hong Kong Cup if he's showing you all the right signs and all that kind of stuff? I don't know that they would go to Dubai in that again. I'm not sure about that. And as I discussed with Bill, it was only in December when that was still on the plan. That was still part of the plan. They just decided then to, change tact and stay at home and go for the Triple Crown. And what a great move that was.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very interesting. And again, I've never seen a horse come off surgery like that and come back better, stronger, more fit. And he just, every time in the parade ring, every race, he looked absolutely incredible, almost better than the last. So it's interesting. And these horses they're bred to run. They love to do it. And when they're competitive like that and they're winning, I don't know. It's good. It's good thing to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And another good thing to talk about, and it's going to dominate a few conversations over the next few weeks or months, is Horse of the Year, Hong Kong Horse of the Year. The debate has already begun in earnest. Which of the two Hong Kong superstar horses, Ka Ying Rising or Romantic Warrior, should be Horse of the Year? Do you have an opinion, Alex?
Yeah, I'm on Ka Ying Rising for sure. Just the records, the time, the travel. He went abroad. He came back and won. He won abroad, not at his best. He kept breaking his own records. I mean, I just think that and the more wins, he's no doubt Horse of the Year, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, our friends down under at racing.com actually had both James McDonald and Zac Purton on their Giddy Up with Gareth Hall program during the week. Gareth, asked both jockeys to put forward their case for why their horse should be Horse of the Year. It was an interesting conversation between the two of them. We've got a little snippet for you. Here's what Zac Purton had to say about Ka Ying Rising.
He had 8 starts for 8 wins. He was unbeaten. 5 Group 1s, including the Everest down there in Australia. So he travelled overseas to win an international Group 1 race against the best sprinters in the world. He won $92 million in season stakes. So that's more than the 74 that Romantic Warrior won. His starting odds, can you believe, in every single race except for one, he started at $1. And he started at $1.50 in the other race in the Everest. The last run he had this season, there was $97 million bet in the win pool, and $94 million was bet on Ka Ying Rising. That's never been done before here in Hong Kong. It might be a world record, I'm not sure, but 94 out of the $97 million bet on one horse is just incredible. Now, if we actually look at the way they won their races, Ka Ying Rising was totally dominant in every start except the Everest. He won by a length and a quarter or something, but every start he was totally dominant. There are a couple of races there where Romantic Warrior looked like he was going to get beat, especially in that last race, which has made a few headlines. He's judged the highest rated horse in the world by the Longines World's Best ratings on a rating of 130. Romantic Warrior's rating is 126. Ka Ying Rising put up incredible numbers time and time again. It just wasn't just a one-off. He was extremely consistent in the way he did it every start. Timeform rated Ka Ying Rising the best sprinter in the last 50 years, better than Black Caviar. So for people in Australia, if they think Black Caviar was the best horse in the world, Ka Ying Rising has to win Horse of the Year in Hong Kong. Racing and Sports rates Ka Ying Rising the best horse in the world at the moment, higher than Caladigan on a rating of 134. Romantic Warriors 130. Well, you're going to lose, James.
30 seconds left.
Sometimes
30
you wanted to
seconds
come to the debate.
30 seconds
Ka Ying
left.
Rising broke the track record 3 times in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He broke it over 1,200, then broke it again, and he broke the track record over 1,400. He's now the highest rated horse in Hong Kong racing history domestically on a rating of 142. So when you look at everything that Ka Ying Rising's done this season, compared to Romantic Warrior, and Romantic Warrior is an incredible horse, it's not even at a debate.
Outstanding stuff there from Zac Purton. He must have been on the debate team at school, I think, Alex.
I think it's just coming on this show so much and being so prepared, seeing how well prepared we are to have these conversations. He came with all the notes. And hey, if he prepares for races the way he prepared for this radio show debate, no wonder he's winning 2,000 races in Hong Kong. But I agree with everything he said. And it was very well put together. If I was on the jury, Brownie, we would be voting for Ka Ying Rising no matter what, even without my inherent bias from before.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. In his response, J-Mac did highlight that Romantic Warrior won from between a mile and a mile and a half, which is pretty impressive. Both horses won 5 Group 1s and were unbeaten this season. J-Mac pointed that out. But also Romantic Warrior won an unprecedented 4th straight Hong Kong Cup. So that's never been done before. And of course, the Triple Crown. So an interesting debate between the two jockeys on that program. We thank our friends over at racing.com for letting us borrow that little snippet. All right, well, let's check in with what else is making news in the world of Hong Kong racing. And a double from Casper Founds at Happy Valley during the week has seen him surge back to the top of the Trainers' Championship. He's now equal on wins with Danny Shum, but has more seconds, so in theory he's on top. 3 wins back to Mark Newnham. John Size still 10 wins adrift with about 7 weeks to go. Alex, would you rule John Size out yet?
It's getting to the point where he needs to have a big meet pretty soon, or it's going to be really hard for him. He's going to have to be 2-1 or so out there to catch up. And it's going to be interesting too, with the final meet being at Happy Valley and Casper being such a skillful trainer, but placing his horses very well at the Valley. Sure. So if it comes down to a tie or him being within 1, you'd have to think that the King of the Valley has a bit of the nod there. Yeah. But it's again, one of my favorite things about racing there is being able to follow these little narratives and storylines. The Trainers Challenge is one of them. And I wouldn't count out Francis either at this point too. He's got some young horses in the mix. He's got a good strong book this weekend. So we'll have to see, but something to keep following. And if Casper does win, maybe we get him on for some more stories. He's an unbelievable storyteller. And like I said, one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
He is indeed. And speaking of Happy Valley, worth mentioning that the Magic Man Joe Moreira had a treble at the Valley on Wednesday night as well. And speaking of former Hong Kong jockeys, Umberto Rispoli, he's continuing his passage back from injury earlier in the year. He posted this footage Umberto did during the week of his time training in Spain, where he's been rehabilitating, and he's looking strong, Alex.
Hey, from what I saw like 3 days before he left, when I went and played video games with him and the boys, to now, he's improved so much. So it's looking good. One of the toughest human beings, quick healer too. I mean, he healed off the 9 days after breaking a collarbone to ride in a grade 1 in Hong Kong back in the day. So obviously a little bit older now. Body heals a little bit slower, but he's looking good, moving good, and I'm happy for him. I can't wait to see him back. We've missed him in California. Just the personality and the presence and the showmanship that he brings to the racetrack, and the smiles and the fun and seeing the boys and everybody. It's something we've severely missed here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he's eyeing a return during the Del Mar Summer Meet. Not sure if he'll make it back for opening day, which is July 18 or 19, somewhere around then. But hopefully
18 Friday.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see Umberto at some stage during the Del Mar meet. If not sooner, it'd be great. But wishing Umberto all the very best. All right, time now for our international highlight of the week, brought to you by Whirlpool. All right, and last week we showed you ARC winner Dariz announcing himself as a major force in Europe, and now the road to Royal Ascot is really heating up, with multiple Group 1 winner Ombudsman making a winning return in the Brigadier Gerard Stakes at Sandown on Thursday. The John and Thady Gosden trained star had to dig deep late, but this victory sets up a mouth-watering clash with Dariz in next month's Prince of Wales' Stakes at Royal Ascot in a few weeks' time. So that should be outstanding to see those two go head-to-head. Shout out to our friends at Wathnan Racing there with that runner-up Get In, or Gethin, however it's pronounced, who certainly made Ombudsman work for it. All right, now time for us to preview the two Group 3 races at Sha Tin this weekend. And the first of the two Group 3s is the Lion Rock Trophy over the 1,600 metres. That's about a mile on the turf. It goes off as race 7 and has drawn a field of 9. Let's go through a couple of them. Number 1, Co-Partner Prance drops back in class after taking on the likes of My Wish in the Champions Mile last out, and Ka Ying Rising and Voyage Bubble before that. Likely leader here. 3, Cheng Cheng Glory, the Pride of Iowa, also comes out of the Champions Mile. Number 6, Winning Ovation, in great form, has won 3 or 4 since an injury layoff. 7, Sky Jewelry, also in great form, chasing a hat-trick. 9, Patch of Cosmo, gets in light, cuts back in trip. Carice Teton rides. Checking out the speed map now, and it does show Co-Partner Prance leading over Cheng Cheng Glory and Winning Ovation. Alex, I know you've done your form. Who do you like here?
So here I'm on Sky Jewelry just off the top, he was the horse that I was into in the 4-year-old series as he was champion Griffin last season. The injury kind of derailed him, but I thought he was going to make a major impact on that 4-year-old series. And since he's come back, he's run incredibly well. Getting a Zini on with lightweight. Barrier 7's not as ideal, but not the worst at 1,600. I like him over Winning Ovation. And if they flipped 1-2 either way, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Winning Ovation's been incredible since coming back off the tendon injury. Purton aboard. His only loss was kind of a tougher trip. So I could see those two being out there together. And then I've got Co-Partner Prance just staying around for a third there. I think he'll get a easier lead and uncontested pace. And maybe, depending on how the track plays, it might play a little forward bias. But I'm kind of on horses that are near the front here in this race. What about you, Brownie?
Yeah, look, I like Sky Jewelry. Looks pretty special. He's 5 for 7 lifetime and unbeaten since his injury layoff. I'm going to try and get him beat, though, with your third selection, Co-Partner Prance. This is just significantly easier than what he's been facing at his last few. He does have some weight to carry, but he's got Huey aboard, who's been in great form. So Co-Partner to beat Sky Jewelry for me for second. Patch of Cosmo, the lightweight chance to fill my trifecta. So, that's our selections.
Tossing Purton, Brownie. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out.
Well, we've got to mention too, Purton's chasing 2,000 wins at Sha Tin on Sunday, so I imagine he's not going to finish on 2,000. He's probably going to finish on 2002 or 2003 by the end of the card as well. All right, the second of the two Group 3s at Sha Tin this weekend is the Sha Tin Vase over the 1,200 metres. That's about 6 furlongs. Let's run through the field here. Number 1, Raging Blizzard, finally finds a race where he doesn't have to run into Ka Ying Rising. 2 Beauty Waves also drops down in class and is drawn well in post 3. 6 Invisible Shield, been very consistent of late. 7 Patch of Stars draws the fence. A winner of a class 2 last out where he beat Crimson Flash, number 8 here, who was flying home last out. The speed map shows Beauty Waves in front. Alex, who do you like in this race, the second of the Group 3s?
Brownie, this is why I'm a photographer and not a professional handicapper and a punter, because I can never separate my heart from my head. But I do love Invincible Shield here. He's one of my favorite horses in Hong Kong, and I think his level of class is going to prevail here. I know he's got some horses coming down from the Ka Ying Rising horses have to beat, but I'm on Invincible Shield over Crimson Flash. He's an up-and-coming type who's in that classic mile. And then I've got Patch of Stars in there for third. How you lighting this candle, Brownie?
You're a funny man. I think, again, I'm going to go take the class drop angle. And I think Raging Blizzard finally gets his chance, not running into Ka Ying Rising. So I like him. Raging Blizzard for me on top. I do like Invincible Shield, your top selection. I've got him in for second, and Patch of Stars for me for third. Also, an eye on Crimson Flash as well, who I think is going to be flying home if there's plenty of pace on up front. Those are our selections for the 2 Group 3s at Sha Tin this weekend. Is there any other horses that you've got your eye on, Alex?
There is. I'm really interested to see how King Dance runs. He's been in incredible form, and he's hit at a price, and he'd come back at like 9 or 10 to 1 and won again. He's won on the all weather, but he's a Nyquist, and he is, we were North American audience here, so we're kind of following. I always look out for these horses. So he's one that I want to see how he performs at up in class at 1,400. I think he's probably going to be a little bit longer distance too. I like Gold Patch in the last race with Purton for Francis. And then in the first race, I don't know how he's going to run the Griffin race, but following our American pedigrees here, there's a Practical Joke running for, sorry, not the first race. It's the Chan Ching Sparkle. Practical Joke out of a Twirling Candy mare. Wow. So horses we're well familiar with. Good turf pedigree too for American horses. And I want to see what this horse weighs in at. Those Practical Jokes are really well built and built to sprint. So at 1,200, I haven't looked at his trials or something, but just on pedigree alone, he's one. And I know the ownership group is really excited to see run. So those are something I'm just going to be looking out for. What's the odds? I'll tell you, Brownie, the way to bet the Hong Kong is you got to have like the stock tracker up, and you got to have the Quadella place line to see where the money's going and the win odds and all that stuff. That right as they go in the gate. That's my theory. So when you maybe pick horses 3-4 days in advance, it's a little bit tough. I like to see where the computer money goes.
Just get all your screens up, lock yourself into your office, maybe pour yourself a drink or two, and then just enjoy it. Race 1, Sha Tin, Saturday night around 9:30 p.m. Pacific, bit after midnight Eastern. Should be another great card.
This is our last Saturday night on the West Coast where we get the 9:30 start time. So I'm going to enjoy every race. I'm going to stay up until the end. I'm going to grind it. I'm like the mother-in-law. I'll stay until you ask me to leave. I'm going to be dead on Sunday, but I'm going to enjoy my last night of punting Sha Tin on Saturday nights. And then once it goes twilight racing, that's going to be having to be watched on replay in the morning.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, enjoy the card. Enjoy your break as well. You're having a little bit of a break from all your travels. You've been certainly flying all over the country and internationally and back and forth to Hong Kong. So it must be nice to put your feet up for a little while. Thanks for joining us, Alex, on this show. Thank you to everybody for watching, and we will see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.